Scorpio rising, what are the most favorable and challenging dates of 2025? I'm Sukboy, you're awesome. This is your year ahead. Let's talk about it. You are not a stereotypical Scorpio rising. You are not a stereotypical human being, and astrology acknowledges that. Your ruling planets are Mars and Pluto, and depending on where they sit in your natal or birth chart, that will give you further nuance, further insight for your specific situation. And for that reason, this prediction for 2025 is an overview. Context matters. So with that in mind, drop some knowledge. Where is Mars and where is Pluto in your natal or birth chart, both house and sign? Here is the timeline. Feel free to screenshot this in 3, 2, 1. Let's break it down. Now in November through to December and even the very start of January, Mars was in Leo in your 10th house. Now, this could have manifested as friction or power struggles when it came to you and authority figures, people questioning your own authority in these areas of your life. Public reputation, maybe something happened online, I'm not sure. In any regard, there was friction there, and there was an overall juggling act between your private world and your public reputation or your career, finding a divine balance. Now, this could have also manifested with your own self-expression and creativity, and that not being accepted by your friends. Now, or your family members for that matter. And there was this friction between, yes, your public and private world in a nutshell. Now, since then, Mars has retrograded back into Cancer of your 9th house, which is your personal beliefs, your religious beliefs, your political beliefs, long distance travel, and education, higher education in particular. And while it's in Cancer, it will be there for some time. It will be again causing friction, confrontation around these areas of your personal belief system. The beliefs you've constructed may clash against those that you live with in your living situation or around your family, or just in general while you're out and about. Your own beliefs may clash with others, and if you're not careful, there can be some confrontation or conflict surrounding those issues, let's say. Now, Mars is going to be there for quite some time, but by May 14th, it will have left the 9th house, back into that 10th house, probably causing some issues, but wrapping up some old issues as well to do with problems with authority or potentially your career or life direction. There's going to be a lot of attention and energy in these areas, but yes, it's kind of hot-headed Mars. It is the god of war. As I said, around May, Mars will be well and truly out of this 9th house and Cancer, and hopefully we will find some resolve in these areas. Now, if you've actually pushed the envelope and this issue is blown out of control into a full-on confrontation, around June, Jupiter is going to enter the scene and it could actually blow that up. So again, I'll just highlight, if you feel the urge to get in politically heated or personal belief heated battles with others, be prepared for consequences that you may not see. Mars is very feisty at the moment in this area of your chart, and when Jupiter enters that, it expands anything it touches. Now, on the flip side, Jupiter is going to be in this 9th house for a very long time, and Jupiter loves being in the 9th house. So what does this mean? With any luck, when Jupiter enters your 9th house of Cancer around June, it actually eases tensions and you find resolve to any friction there has been around your belief systems, especially with your living situation or with your family, potentially. Now, Jupiter's going to be here for about a year, and it is very favorable. Jupiter loves being in Cancer. Now, what does this mean for you in the 9th house? It could mean you are going to travel. It could mean it is time to study. It could mean it is time to engulf and expand your beliefs and become more emotionally secure about your own philosophies you have in life. Now, this could also mean emotional security in the home, in the living situation, in travel, especially overseas travel, and in any study you take up. It could be a graceful year ahead once it clicks into gear around June 25 to June 26. It's a very favorable period. After that, Jupiter will be going into your 10th house of Leo, but I'll talk about that next year. But that will be fantastic. Now let's scoot back to late March, around the 29th of March, when we get our final eclipse in Aries and Libra. Now for the last year and a half, there has been massive beginnings and endings when it comes to the self, your independence, your relationship with your health and your body, your relationship with your work colleagues and your work, your daily tasks. When I say work, I don't mean career. I mean the things you do every day. How do you schedule your time every day? Who do you spend that time with? Massive beginnings and endings in that area. And also self first other, Aries, the self, the other is Libra, and Libra is in that 12th house, also getting triggered over the last year and a half. Major beginnings and endings in that realm too. Now, the 12th house is about hidden enemies. So something tells me there could have been some people you thought you were very close to, but within the last year and a half, you've actually realized, no, they weren't being authentic, and potentially they were betraying me behind my back. And that has come to light now. And so there could have been friction, beginnings and endings with some of those one-to-one relationships where you thought you could trust them, and it turns out you can't. After March, these eclipses will actually move into the 5th house of Pisces and the 11th house of Aquarius. But in the meantime, late March, we will see the ending of a chapter and the beginning of a new one. This could actually look like you taking better care of yourself, or maybe you've gone through a huge exercise routine and it's time to be on the end of that bell curve and not push yourself as hard. Not sure, this can manifest in a fair few ways considering the dynamics, but there you go. Funnily enough, daisy chaining out of March, we have a Venus retrograde that actually starts in your 6th house, where some old love affairs potentially could sneak in those DMs and say what's up. And over the course of the next couple of months, April and May, all through April and the first half of May, Venus actually goes back into your 5th house of love affairs, self-expression, creativity. Now, Venus loves Pisces, and this will be a pretty favorable time, but there will be some restrictions because Venus will be conjuncting Saturn 3 times, and that will make things quite committed, and there will be this murky in between if you do have any love affairs, let's say, or you're dating someone, or you're just having lots of fun. It'll be very hard to distinguish whether you are in a relationship with them or not. And indeed, as Venus keeps conjuncting, it'll happen 3 times this Saturn. You can actually have old people flood back into your life interested again, or you might actually reach out to someone from the past in this time. Now, it's not the worst time in the world. Venus loves, like I said, Venus loves Pisces. But what I would say is err with some caution when it comes to idealizing other people or letting other people idealize you. It is a little bit toxic. There will be a bit of escapism, potentially some alcoholism or some substance use in this time. Venus also enjoys that in the 5th house of the playground. The 5th house is the playground of the zodiac. Now this will wrap up around mid-May, and Venus will re-enter Aries, and that is extremely passionate and extremely motivated, and there's a lot of desire to push forward and be quite ambitious after that. Now, funnily enough, after May, going to the start of June, the 6th house becomes activated again by both Saturn and Neptune entering this area of the chart, and this is going to be around your health. And I think it's important to not sleep on any pre-existing injuries in this time, not think that everything's going to be okay, it'll just go away. Saturn rules the bones, the skin, the teeth. Neptune rules alcoholism. I think it rules the feet as well. So be careful and just take care of yourself. Try to see the red flags as early as possible. Neptune is going to be very confusing with the health. So you may get some very absurd or obscure or strange kind of health scares in this time. Neptune's going to be in the 6th house for quite some time, up about 10 years. Saturn's going to be there about 2.5, and Saturn always brings restrictions. So be careful of accidents in this time as well. And yeah, if you do see any health scares, get on top of them straight away, as well as Neptune having this prerequisite to alcohol. So be careful of your alcohol consumption on a daily basis, especially coming out of this Venus retrograde in your 5th house where it's a bit of a party time. You don't want to develop a habit in that area. Neptune's also all about those red flags. So, red flags with health, red flags with work colleagues. Again, this 6th house is really being highlighted. It's would be a very good idea to get on top of your diet as soon as possible, because this section of the year does get a bit confusing, a bit cloudy, let's say. Now, next up, around September, we're back in this 5th house, the playground of the zodiac, your own self-expression, your relationship with children, and also romantic love affairs, spontaneous love affairs. More than anything, it's about what we create. We create children, we create art, that kind of thing. Now, post-September, for the next year and a half, this eclipse season will be sparking off how you express yourself creatively and what you create. In Pisces, it's very original, compassionate, conceptual, abstract, and that will be opposite Virgo in your 11th house. Will basically be around your friends again, and friendship circles, associates, alliances. Now, there's going to be major beginnings and endings to these friendship circles. Maybe they don't consider you. Maybe you've been considering them and their needs for a long time, and you actually realize at some point, hang on, this isn't reciprocal, and you may need to adjust that, change friendship circles potentially. This is over the next year and a half post-September. And in the 5th house, that can indicate a different way of you expressing yourself, or the different ways you create. Having a 5th house Pisces probably means you are quite creative, just saying. And especially while Venus is in there earlier in the year, you will actually be quite proactive in your creation, whatever that happens to be. But buckle up, for the next year and a half, you're going to get these eclipses, major beginnings and endings in how you express yourself and the people you hang around with. That's both the 5th and the 11th house. Now let's scoot back, and we're looking at the period of time between July and September, where Uranus will move into your 8th house of Gemini. Then in September, it'll retrograde back into Taurus, your 7th house. Now, over the last, 7 years, it has been so uncertain when it comes to your commitments to other people. Uranus in Taurus just brings total disruptions to whatever area it's in. And for you, it's your one-to-one relationships. So the last 7 years could have been spontaneous events happening when it comes to your romantic relationships, your business relationships, your best friends. There's been a lot of turbulence in this area, and especially with their authenticity and how stable a friend or a lover or a business partner they could have been. Now, this is going to stabilize again. It's been very disruptive while Uranus has been in the 7th house, and that is coming to an end, and you will get a clue how that feels in July when it enters your 8th house. Now, when it enters your 8th house, this is more about your debts, loss, mortgages, shared assets. It's a very deep place, but for Gemini, it means that your mind will become very, very active, and it's great for thinking outside the box, let's say, when it comes to creating financial gains using other people's money or leveraging debt or things like this. Now, Gemini is all about the way we communicate. So this could be heightened negotiation skills. It's going to be a very authentic time where you dive very deep and you figure out, what do I actually want and how do I go about getting it? And Uranus will give you a lot of perspectives and different ways of thinking about money, finances, and how to service loans or debts. Or you might actually realize how linked you are between other people's money and your own financial independence. And you could actually find some financial independence if you play your cards right in this time, if you don't already have it. This was a rather long video. Thank you for hanging out. If you would like a custom reading for your year ahead, I'm offering them till the end of January. If you're watching this after January, just slide in the DMs or send me an email, let me know. We can customize something for you, or we can just read your birth chart and I can teach you how to read your birth chart. Now, drop some knowledge. Did this land for you? When are you watching this throughout 2025? Bless your heart. Have the best day. Okay, bye.